The foreign desk editor-in-chief, Lisa Daftari. Lisa, it is so great to have you with us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
So, Lisa, just to revisit some of the issues that we've been highlighting, Russia started a war with Ukraine. China has become more aggressive with Taiwan. Of course, we have the war now in Israel. We had a disastrous exit from Afghanistan. Are all of these issues, these conflicts that are developing, are these a sign that the United States is losing its dominant presence in global order?
Absolutely. Look, besides for President Obama and President Biden, if you take those two out of the equation, you should never know what kind of president is in the White House, Democrat or Republican. When you look at foreign policy should be steady, stable, across the board consistent, particularly when it comes to our friends and allies like Israel and our enemies, taking a strong posture against them and letting them know where the United States stands. That has been completely undone, first under the Obama administration, now, of course, under the Biden administration, where you're seeing this all come to a head. Many of the, as you said, the consequences that we're seeing globally as a result of emboldening rogue regimes to act out the way that they want. And they're playing out the clock, knowing that under the Biden administration is when they can get this done.
Noticeably absent today. I know the president responded, Lisa, over the weekend, but noticeably absent today is any comments on, where the situation stands at this moment. The White House did issue a statement explaining, because they were being criticized for having a barbecue yesterday while this was all unfolding. And yet you hear nothing from the president when 9 Americans have died. And it is our understanding that there have been some American hostages taken as well. This is a moment where you want to hear from the commander-in-chief again every day until progress or some sort of resolution is reached here, yet silence.
Absolutely. And, we got some support for Israel and then its right to defend itself in the first hours from the White House. A lot of podium talk, right? The real crux of this is the White House's responsibility, what we owe to our ally Israel in the region. Not just to stand at the podium and say that we support you, and of course not to have a barbecue, especially, as you said, as Americans are among the casualties. But again, where do we stand with Iran's regime that is behind all of this? I think the White House was trying to take a step back and say, well, we support Israel, but they didn't want to take any responsibility or admit that Iran is behind this. Antony Blinken was asked about it, and he said, we don't know anything yet, but we know conclusively now that Iran's regime, they're bragging about being behind this. Hamas is talking about wanting to destroy Israel and take it off the map. But yet the White House, many mainstream media outlets will completely translate this story into something very different.
Lisa, we have about 30 seconds left. What do you make of what appears to be an absolutely colossal intelligence failure in this case?
Yeah, it's really a question that many of us are mind-boggled about because, as you know, Israel is known for its robust intelligence apparatuses. It's 24/7 game for them in terms of defending themselves and watching out and not having a vulnerable moment, even if that is on the Sabbath or on a high holiday. We know that they have been very vulnerable domestically, obviously left and right, having some domestic issues, but counterterrorism has always been their strong suit. So there will be a lot of investigation into how they breached this. Of course, again, having the Iran regime orchestrate this cannot be understated. This was not just Hamas, one terror organization's attack on Israel. This was a coordinated effort, and I know that has much to do with how complex this massacre was.
And where was American intelligence? We shall see. Lisa, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.